So now I'm going to start on the wild rice while my almonds are toasting. I have a blend of brown rice and wild rice that I'm going to be using. If you use all wild rice, it's a grass and it can be really chewy. So I like to kind of mix it up a little bit. And I'm going to keep it really simple. People sometimes forget that if you keep things simple, they actually taste better. You can actually taste the ingredients instead of overdoing it and overdressing it and that sort of thing. This makes it fast. And I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons of butter. Put it in my pot. So the onions go in. And you just want to let those get sauteed for about 2 minutes. So these are tender enough. I'm going to add 1 cup of this rice blend, wild rice and brown rice, different wild rices and brown rice. I'm going to coat it. The delish veal stock, least made. Goes in. You bring it to a boil, and then you put it down to a simmer, put the top on, and 45 minutes later it's done.
We are going to have something simple and delicious. We're going to poach some pears. So I quickly just peel these. I'm going to keep the stems on, and I'll show you something fun you can do. And this is going to be a great dessert. You can put it at the end with a little ice cream or a whipped cream. What I'm going to do too, so I can poach them, I sliced the bottom off the pears to make them stand up straight. You know, 1 per person is usually the right amount. I'm going to just quickly scoop out some of the inside. So you want to get the core out. It's not very big on a pear, but you still don't want to be chewing on seeds in your dessert. And for the poaching liquid, I have, again, my wine. And I'm using a Cabernet. I'm going to use a stick of cinnamon, a whole nutmeg, 2 cloves, a star anise, about a tablespoon of vanilla, a squeeze of the orange juice from the orange, maybe a 1/4 of an orange. Okay, and we're going to fill up the pears about 3/4 of the way. I'm going to take this and keep that on very medium low until it comes up to a boil, and then you put it down way, way, way low. And then we're going to cover it and let it simmer until the pears are not so mushy, but soft enough to easily sink a tip of a knife in. And you're just going to love this. And I'll show you a quick tip with the rendered goose fat while those are going. I always just put it into a freezer-safe container. As it is Christmas time, we're using all the dishes like tradition. So I'm just going to pour it in there and reserving the skin. We don't want to use the skin. You take that, you let it cool off to room temperature, and you can either put it in the freezer or you put it in the refrigerator.
Still waiting for my Brussels sprouts. I'm going to show you how to do some potatoes. So I'm just going to roast some potatoes, some garlic potatoes alongside the goose. This can also be made into a baby food. Lisa got purple potatoes, which I think are super cool. I learned about these in California. They are so awesome. You open them up, you take out the eyes, which are the little bulbs things, and you just clean them off. And then if you look inside a purple potato, they are this beautiful, jewelly purpley. So I'm just going to cut them same size, put it in a baking dish, and I just cover them with a little olive oil. I'm going to be mixing that up, some salt. I'm going to keep 1 little section unseasoned. I'm going to put garlic on only half, so the other half can be the baby food half. These will need to be flipped halfway through, and this garlic will roast up nicely too.
Oh, yummy.
I'm going to mix it up. Okay, so the potatoes are ready to go. They're going to take about an hour, but I would check them every 20 minutes or so and flip them after halfway through about 30 minutes. In they go, next to the goosey. The Brussels sprouts are pretty much done, so I'm going to take some more butter, it's delicious French butter, and put it in my heavy bottom skillet. And then I'm going to add about the same amount of maple syrup. And these just need to kind of merge together and become one. Probably about 3 minutes. And this then becomes a glaze. Dun, dun, dun.
It's a very hearty winter vegetable.
It is. Add some salt. Dip it. Just toss them in there. Super easy. And once again, here we go. Oh.
Here, I'll help you.
Thank you. Yeah, my cast iron pan's about half the size of this one.
Okay, let's make some space. So now, I'm going to make a drink that everyone can participate in. We're gonna have hot mulled spider.
Yum, I love hot mulled spider. It's my favorite.
We're gonna have hot mulled cider. Yeah, everybody likes mulled spiders.
It's still my favorite.
Oh, that was a mulled spider. Hey, that's a really good thing for Halloween. Okay, I'm gonna use my big pot again. And here is some New York maple cider. Got at the farm market. Just pour it right in. Right, well this is great for any time. Instead of maybe hot chocolate, you can make the mulled spider.
Yeah. I thought you were joking.
You can make the mulled cider as opposed to hot chocolate when they come in after playing in the snow, and they'll love it just as much. Okay, in there I put a couple whole cloves, whole stick of cinnamon, another whole nutmeg, and some star anise, and 1 more teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna do 1 squirt of citrus in here. This is again the orange. So we're gonna cover this guy up, and don't let it boil, ever let it boil. Just keep it at a very, very low mulling temperature, meaning very, very low. Okay. Ugh. Oh, everything smells so good. I'm going to baste him with a little bit of wine again. Still have some more orange and a little bit of stock too. So we're also starting to build up the basis of our sauce on the bottom of the pan. And they have enough fat in their skin and in their body, so you don't always have to baste it in a fatty. This is more to cut the fat. All right, put him back in. And now he has to cook for 2 hours. We will take the potatoes out before then, but let him just be in there for as long as he wants. Our pears are ready. Okay, I'm gonna lift one little guy out of here. Put him in the center. So take it, you put a little slice at the top. It's hot. Okay, there we go. Onto the plate. You could reduce the sauce a little bit, but you don't have to. I like it like that. And then a little scoop of ice cream, and you are ready, set to go.
All right, so we're gonna make the baby food. We've got 2 little pears set aside for our babies. And all you do is cut around the core. These are hot. And blend. And it's done. Put them in some pretty cups here. There we go. Voila. All right, so the rice is done. We're gonna taste it to make sure there's enough salt and seasonings, and I'm just gonna put it in a nice bowl. There we go.
Okay, so the mulled cider is done, and we actually feel like getting a glass. You take a pretty glass, little mug, and this is for the kiddies. You just be careful that they don't break your china.
And adults.
And adults, okay? And that's one for a little kid. Hold on 1 second. This is for the big people. A little bit of rum. A little rum on the bottom of the glass. And then you pour this over.
Keep them straight.
Smells good. And for a little decoration, you can use a little bit of a cinnamon stick.
But just for the adults, right?
Just for the adults. You don't want the little kids
gnawing
sipping
on them.
this. You can either put it in there, but that might be too cinnamony. They can use it to spice it up a little, mix it as a stirrer. You just leave it right on the side.